We are live from Montpelier Recreation Field here in Montpelier, Vermont. It is the 7th iteration of this game between the Vermont Mountaineers and the visiting Winnipesaukee Muskrats. The Mountaineers have won 5 of 6, and I'm Quintin Pelzel alongside my broadcast partner, the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Ben Curtis. These two teams last played on Saturday. The Mountaineers won both of those games. It was a doubleheader game that the Mountaineers won 6-3 in Game 1, and it looked like in Game 2 the Muskrats were going to win, but a ninth-inning comeback for the Mountaineers sealed the deal.
Big comeback for Vermont in Game number 2. These two teams moving in opposite directions right now. Winnipesaukee dropped each of their last 6. Vermont has made a run. They've won their last 4.
Players are on the field. Looks like we are ready for some baseball here on a Monday night. We are heading towards the final week of the NECBL. Time flies. Already down the stretch here. Only one more off day for the Vermont Mountaineers as Alex Bryan is on the hill. And Ben, going to have you read the starting lineups first for the Winnipesaukee Muskrats.
Well, Rich Seska's lineup card looks like this. Starting off and in center field is Jake LaPrairie, looking to bust out of a slump. He's just won for his last 15. Gus Sosa's at the DH role back. He did not play against Vermont in the doubleheader. Talk more about that later. Cole Johnson, the All-Star, is in the 3-hole out in left field. Simon Baumgart hits cleanup. Ramon Jimenez slots into the 5 spot out at first base. Drew Metzdorf in the 6-hole, batting 6th and playing second base. Matt Overton, is in right field, batting 7th. Adam Durand catches and bats 8th, and Cole Abrams rounds out the order, batting 9th, as that kind of wraparound guy Rich Seska loves to use.
And on the mound for the Mountaineers is the right-hand pitcher from the College of Holy Cross, stands at 6'4", 205. It's Alex Bryant, making his 7th start of the season for the Mountaineers. He's pitching to a 3.85 earned run average. He's 0-2. He's pitched in 25 2/3 innings. He's struck out 27 batters, walked 16, and has given up 20 hits. His last appearance came against the Upper Valley Nighthawks on July 21st in the doubleheader, and he went 2 innings, gave up 5 earned runs, 6 runs in total, so he's coming off of one of his worst outings of the season. We'll see how we can come back here against the Winnipesaukee Muskrats as Jake LaPrairie steps to the plate out of the windup, and the first pitch from Bryan is lifted foul up and over the grandstand, and the count's 0-1 to Jake LaPrairie. First pitch coming in at 6:46, and the game time temperature is grand total of 79 degrees.
A gorgeous day for baseball. Not too many clouds in the sky.
0-1-2. LaPrairie's in there for a strike, and the count's 0-2. I did notice this morning when I was waking up, the sun, if you had a chance to look at it, it was just bright red. I think that was a indirect effect from the forest fires on the West Coast in Oregon and California. The pitch is a little high, and the count's 1-2, and additionally we have the haze as well.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a factor around the NECBL, all up and down the East Coast and throughout the country. The visibility not necessarily at 100%, and that is because of all the way out on the West Coast, all those forest fires, unfortunately.
There'll be a 1-2 to LaPrairie. Stings one into right field. That's going to be a base hit, so the Winnipesaukee Muskrats get a leadoff base runner as Jake LaPrairie, the center fielder for the Muskrats, gets on. And now Bryant's going to have to work out of the stretch early in this one.
Mentioned when I was reading the lineup, Jake LaPrairie was in a little bit of a funk coming out of the All-Star game. He was just 1 for his last 15. That's among the hardest hit balls he's had since the All-Star game last Sunday. Good start for him.
Stepping to the plate now, Gus Sosa, the DH for the Muskrats. As you said earlier, Ben, Sosa did not see any action on Saturday in the doubleheader. Bryan out of the stretch, and the pitch, a curveball that sits high, and the count's 1-0.
I was talking with him before the game. It was an issue with the fingers on his left hand sliding into second base a couple of games ago against North Shore back on Friday the 23rd. That caused the issue. Back in the DH role today, not yet healthy to play the field.
Time is called as Alex Bryant needs to fix his shoelaces. LaPrairie leads from first base, held on by Adam Retzbach. The pitch is hit high in the air, a towering fly ball to left field, but playable for Griffin Arnone. He's under it, makes the catch with one hand, and going back to first base will be LaPrairie, and that's the first out here in the first.
Good to see for Sosa right out of the gate being aggressive, knowing that one of those earlier pitches is among the best he's going to get all at bat. Takes a healthy cut at it, and if that's at Robbie Mills Field, might be having a little different conversation. This is one of the bigger ballparks in the NECBL North Division.
Yeah, you got that right. Defensively for the Mountaineers, left to right on the infield, Evan Giordano gets his first start at third base in over 2 weeks. Keegan Calero at shortstop. Craig Larson and then Adam Retzbach. That's left to right on the infield. The pitch, LaPrairie goes. The pitch outside. Throw down to second is going to be not in time. Jake LaPrairie swipes second base. And for LaPrairie, his 7th stolen base of the year puts the Muskrats in a scoring situation here in the first.
Rich Seska wanting to put the game in motion as early on as possible. The pitch was a strike, so it's going to be 0-1. But recognizing you got punched in the gut a little bit the last time you faced Vermont with that big late comeback in the 7th inning of a 7-inning game. With Winnipesaukee trying to close things out, they were unable to do so. Get another chance right against the Mountaineers and trying to put the game in motion early on to manufacture an early run.
So that pitch from Bryant was actually a strike, a high strike called, and the pitch to Cole Johnson fouled off, and the count's 0-2. Finishing up the Mountaineers defensively, left right in the outfield, Griffin Arnone, Tommy Courtney, and then Cade Kretschmar. Behind the plate is Matt Oldham, and of course on the mound is Alex Bryant.
And in that doubleheader, Quintin, Winnipesaukee had trouble scoring offense early on in the game. They scored just 4 combined runs in innings 1 through 4 of that doubleheader. They scored 6 in the final 3 innings of the 2 games.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Johnson. That's outside and low, and the count's 1-2. One with the curveball. Bryant's going to be sitting in the high 80s with that fastball. Also has that curveball he likes to use, mainly fastball curveball. Making a 7th start of the season, and Cole Johnson, the batter right now, he's batting .409 against the Mountaineers in 6 games. 3 home runs, 6 runs batted in, with an on-base percentage of over .450 against Mountaineer pitching this year. LaPrairie leads from second. The 1-2 is on the ground up the middle. To his left is Calero. He's going to have to hurry. Throws to first in time to get Johnson. LaPrairie heads to third base. Nice play by Keegan Calero, flashing up the middle, and there's 2 away.
Good internal clock there for Keegan Calero, recognizing Cole Johnson's a guy who's already swiped 2 bags against your team this season. He's got excellent speed, and the ball wasn't hit all that hard, so Calero had to get the ball out of his glove quickly.
So now the batter will be Simon Baumgard with the first run of the game, 90 feet away, represented by Jake LaPrairie. Baumgard, a right-hand hitter, playing third base tonight for the Muskrats. The pitch swung on and missed, a high fastball coming in at 85, according to the radar gun here at Montpelier Recreation Field. The count's 0-1.
Simon Baumgart, a guy who has the fewest at-bats against the Mountaineers of anyone in the starting 9 for Winnipesaukee.
0-1 fouled away, and the count's 0-2. Baumgart, a late addition to this Muskrats team. He's playing in his 9th game for Winnipesaukee, but he's been extremely productive. 9 hits and 30 at-bats. It does have a home run and 7 runs batted in those 8 games.
Been trial by fire for Baumgart. Started off his debut 0 for 4, but he's come back very, very strong, and it's been important for Seska's club.
0-2 is a slow breaking ball in there for a called strike 3. So Alex Bryant strands a runner at third base. Jake LaPrairie led off the inning with a single, and he is stranded at third. We'll head to the home half of the first inning here at Montpelier Recreation Field. Mountaineers coming to bat, no score. You're listening to the NECBL Broadcast Network. Back here at Montpelier Recreation Field as we head to the bottom of the first inning. No score as Alex Bryant stranded Jake LaPrairie at third base in the top of the first. The Mountaineers coming to bat, and they look like this. Tommy Courtney will lead it off, followed by Craig Larson in that 2 spot. Batting third, Matt Oldham. Batting cleanup, Cade Kretschmar. And right behind him, Adam Retzbach. Griffin Arnone will be in the 6th spot as Keegan Calero starts off the bottom third of the lineup. And then Evan Giordano and Curtis Robinson will round out the Mountaineer lineup. And on the mound for the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Anthony Hattrip, the right-hander from the University of Dayton.
Hatchup, a guy who's alternated starting and coming out of the bullpen. He's got 3 starts, making his 4th right now. He's also picked up 1 save. He's come out of the Winnipesaukee pen 3 different times, 6.48 ERA for him. First time facing Vermont. It's odd this late in the season that you get 2 starters, neither of whom have faced the other team before. That's the situation we have right now. Last outing was certainly one to forget for Hatchup. 1 2/3 innings against Sanford. 4 earned runs, but 6 more unearned runs. Game that got out of hand against the Mainers.
First pitch swinging is Tommy Corney, fouls it back to the screen, and the count's 0-1. Hatchup looking to get right back on track, but he's going to have to do it against a very hot offense. The Mountaineers have scored 32 runs over their past 4 games. Mountaineers come into this game with a 4-game winning streak. The 0-1 reached for, fouled away off to the left side, and the count's 0-2. So that's 32 runs over the last 4 games, and all 4 of those games were 7-inning games. 2 contests on Saturday and then 2 on Sunday against the Keene Swamp Bats, and the 0-2 was swung on and missed strike 3. So nice job by Anthony Hatchup, striking out Tommy Corney on 3 pitches, and there's 1 away.
Hatchup, not a guy that's going to overwhelm you with velocity, but he finds the most success when he works different corners well and changes the batter's eye level. Also going to be really important that the fastball has a little extra zip on it to play off of those slower curveballs and changeups. He's going to try to get hitters off balance. He's going to pitch to a lot of weak contact. Season high in strikeouts is 6.
Now here's Craig Larson, lines one down the right field line, foul, and the count's 0-1. Larson had a heck of a Saturday a couple of days ago against the Muskrats. 2 total home runs, carried the offense in game 1. Had 3 total hits, 3 for 7, scored 3 runs, had 4 runs batted in. The 0-1 shows bunt, does bunt it down the third base line. Hatchup off the mound, gives way to the third baseman Baumgart, but he's going to throw it wildly to first base, gets by Jimenez, but by the time that Larson realizes it, he'll just head back to first base, no time. And we'll see what the call is.
Well, it sure looks like a really good bunt, and I think it should be an infield hit for Larson because it was a perfectly placed bunt down the third base side, rather. Baumgart, who was playing even with the bag at best, had absolutely no chance to get to it. Tries to take that really difficult angle with a throw on the run. I think even if it's on target, it doesn't beat Jimenez, and it will be a hit, rightfully so.
Already Larson's 17th hit of the season and only 16 games played for the Vermont Mountaineers. He was another one of those late additions, but he's been a pleasant surprise in this lineup as Matt Oldham will step to the plate. Larson leads from first base. Hatchup working out of the stretch, and the pitch is lined on the left field line, a foul ball. And the count's 0-1 to Oldham.
Hatchup, a guy who's going to let the ball be put in play. Only 5 walks this season in 16 2/3 innings is a pretty solid ratio, but batters hitting close to 400 against him, really buoyed from that 10 hits that he conceded against Sanford in an inning and 2/3.
Hatchup comes set, and the pitch in the dirt, blocked by the catcher Duran, and the count's 1-1.
Hatchup has had, sorry about that, Quintin, some really good outings. He's had 3 different outings where he's gone 2 2/3 innings or longer with only 1 earned run conceded. So that's certainly what Winnipesaukee obviously going to hope for.
Infield shaded up the middle, throw to first base, Larson back. And defensively for the Muskrats, Simon Baumgart at third base, Cole Abrams at shortstop, Drew Metzdorf at second, and Ramon Jimenez at first. Left to right in the outfield is Cole Johnson, Jake LaPrairie, and Matt Overton. Beyond the plate is Adam Duran, and of course on the mound is Hatchup. That ball's outside, and the count's 2-1 to Matt Oldham.
They saw the pickoff move from Hatchup. Pickoffs were something that really came into play when these 2 teams linked up a couple of days ago in that doubleheader. Both teams had runners picked off. Winnipesaukee ended the first and second innings of Game 1 with pickoffs.
Pickoffs from Luke Rettig as that pitch is swung on and missed. A high fastball from Hatchup coming in at 86 miles an hour as he takes a peek at the radar gun, and the count's 2-2. Oldham playing in his 32nd game for the Vermont Mountaineers. 8 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Comes into this game on a 3-game hitting streak. 3 home runs in his last 3 games. Here's the 2-2. That's outside. Off-speed pitch from the right-hand pitcher Hatchup, and the count's now 3-2, 1 out. Larson at first base. Be interested to see if he does get put in motion on the 3-2 pitch. Jimenez still holding him on as Hatchup comes set. Throw to first base, and Larson back in standing.
Only 1 stolen base on the season for Larson, but this is just whether or not you trust Matt Oldham to put the ball in play if there's going to be a strike, or at least a swing if it's going to be a strike, and protect Larson.
Third baseman Baumgart, even with the bag, 3-2, is on the ground wide of first, foul. Got a breaking ball, and Oldham did enough to get a piece of it and pull it foul. And the count will stay 3-2. Lights are on here early in the first inning.
If you're Hatchup, I don't know if you want to put this ball anywhere above the belt. You want to get it low in the zone, try to get a ground ball.
Hatchup comes set. Takes a couple glances at Larson. Not going. The pitch in the dirt, blocked by Duran, and the Mountaineers now have 2 runners on. And that's the first walk given up by Hatchup. Here comes Cade Kretschmar.
Well, he threw it low, but he threw it a little bit too low there that time, Quintin. And Oldham did a really good job of holding up with a 3-2 count. You want to expand the strike zone a little bit, but still, you have those 3 balls, almost a walk, but with 2 strikes. You obviously have to protect the plate. Oldham did a really good job of early pitch recognition. Hatchup just spiked it a little bit too much.
Kretschmar playing in his 3rd game for the Mountaineers. The pitch is low. Blocked by Duran, and the count's 1-0 to Kretschmar, the outfielder from Dartmouth College. He has 2 hits and 8 at-bats, good enough for a .250 batting average. Pitch is another one that skips to the plate, count 2-0. So Hatchup spiking a lot of pitches to the plate, and that will prompt a mound visit from Adam Duran. He'll head to the mound to try to settle down Hatchup, who already has given up 2 base runners here in the bottom of the first inning.
Well, I mentioned that this is Hatchup's first time playing the Mountaineers, which of course that means that it's the first time he's pitching on this mound, and every mound a little bit different. Sometimes takes some guys a little bit more time than others to get more comfortable with the surface, with their landing spot and what that looks like. And you can see Hatchup, who we mentioned, usually has pretty solid control, struggling a little bit with that right now.
Kretschmar, left-handed hitter. Here's the 2-0, and it's going to be a little low and outside, 3-0. See if Kretschmar gets the hit sign with Adam Retzbach on deck. Retzbach, over the past couple games, has all of a sudden found a power surge. 3-0. On the outside corner for strikes as the home plate umpire, E. Tyler Bullock. On the base paths, James Segula and Doug Isham. Larson leads from second base. Oldham from first. The 3-1 is fouled away off to the left side, and we'll do it again. Counts 3-2.
That's a really good spot for Anthony Hatchup to live on that outside corner, arm side to the lefty. It was going to be a strike. I don't know if Kretschmar, that's a pitch you necessarily want to swing at. 3-1, you're ahead, and you're looking for one pitch that you can drive. Kretschmar can't do that with a fastball in the outside corner.
Kretschmar started in 22 games over the last 2 seasons at Dartmouth College. One of 3 active Dartmouth College players on the Mountaineers as he lines one down the right field line, just foul. That was within a couple inches of being at least 1 run for the Mountaineers, but instead it's a long strike, and we'll have to do it again.
That's a pitch that Hatchup left a little bit too far over the middle of the zone. I think he wanted it to run a little bit further in on his hands, but caught plenty of the plate, and Kretschmar just out in front of it. And when the Mountaineers in this first inning have been off balance or have been early, they've been pulling the baseball, haven't been late to too much.
Choking up on the bat, couple inches. Here's the pitch. Larson goes for third. The pitch is grounded to the right side into the hole and through into right field for a base hit under the glove of Jimenez. Coming home to score is Larson as the throw goes into third. Oldham standing up safely at third, and on at first with an RBI single is Cade Kretschmar, and the Mountaineers have a 1-0 lead.
That's just a fantastic piece of hitting from Kretschmar, pushing the ball the other way, just hitting it where it's pitched on the outside part of the plate, goes with it. That's a really nice job from Kretschmar. Just to punch it into right field with the runner on the move. He was always going to score. Good base running, trail running from Oldham as well to get to third base. Overton came up throwing. Really strong throw from Overton out in right field, but was never going to get Oldham with the jump he got.
That's Kretschmar's first RBI of the season. First RBI as a Vermont Mountaineer. Gives the Mountaineers the lead. Runners at the corners, one away for Retzbach, and he takes a strike 0-1. So Mountaineers with 2 early hits on Anthony Hatchup. The right-hander from the University of Dayton still in trouble. Just to deal with Retzbach, and He's a total of 5 home runs on the season. The pitch is hit to left field. On the run is the left fielder Johnson, but it's going to one-hop the wall. Oldham will score easily. Rounding third, heading for home is Kretschmar. Here's the throw from Abrams to the plate, and Kretschmar slides in safely ahead of the throw. A 2-run double for Adam Retzbach. Back-to-back RBI hits for the Vermont Mountaineers, and they have a 3-0 lead.
Well, if you throw a pitch that catches enough of the plate to a guy like Adam Retzbach, he's going to punish you. Not necessarily the best route out in left field for Cole Johnson, who's usually pretty solid with the glove. He went a little bit shallow to the angle, then had to turn and race pretty much straight back to the wall, and that might have cost him a step or two, because Abrams got a nice throw into home plate, but Duran was unable to apply the tag in time. Good base running from Kretschmar as well, who was off on contact. Good read from him.
Pitch to Griffin Arnone is low, blocked by Duran. Counts 1-0. That is now the 5th RBI in the past 3 games for Adam Retzbach, and a 4-game hitting streak for Adam Retzbach, who seems to be catching fire at the right time for the Vermont Mountaineers. Third baseman Baumgart is in on the grass, and the pitch to Arnone is lifted in the air to center field. Playable for LaPrairie. He's under it, and he'll make the grab. Going back to second base will be Retzbach. Second out of the inning for Hattrip.
Important second out for Hattrip as well to stop the bleeding a little bit. Now you can attack Keegan Calero.
So the Mountaineers continuing their offensive onslaught over the past 4 games. I mentioned it earlier, 32 runs over the past 4 games, and already 3 runs home here in the first inning. Keegan Calero will be the batter, the 7-hitter for the Mountaineers.
And you mentioned that all those were 7-inning contests, so if you extrapolate that to what 9-inning contests would be over 40 runs. It would be 41.1 or so runs over 4 9-inning contests if you ratio that back out, which is a pretty darn good ratio.
First pitch to Calero is low and outside, and the count's 1-0. This has been a very underwhelming offense for the majority of the year, but all of a sudden they got an injection of some new blood, if you will. Griffin Arnone, Cade Kretschmar, Connor Bursch, Craig Larson, and all 4 of those guys are contributing. The pitch is inside, and the count is now 2-0 to Keegan Calero.
And this is the time of year where you want to be hitting that stride. Last week or so of the season, only a handful of games remaining for both teams.
Last ball hit by Adam Retzbach, 103 miles an hour off the bat. Certainly don't see balls hit triple digits very often. Pitch is high and inside, 3-0 to Keegan Calero. Calero has walked a total of 23 times on the year. That is 10 more than the second most on the team. Just has a terrific eye at the plate. The 3-0 is going to be low, ball 4. Make that walk number 24 on the season for Keegan Calero. As he heads down to first base, he has an on-base percentage of over 400. And he just adds to that total here. And there's going to be a mound visit by the pitching coach of the Muskrats.
As John Michael Garino is going to go out and have a chat. Uncharacteristic for Anthony Hattrip to walk 2 guys in 1 inning. He's only walked 2 other guys in 1 outing all season long, and that was back against Keene on June the 27th. So it's been a full month since he's walked multiple guys in an entire appearance, and already 2 here in the first 2/3 of an inning.
So now here's Evan Giordano batting in the 8th spot for the Mountaineers for the first time this season. It's a really good sign to see Giordano back in the field at third base. I mentioned it's one of the first times in about 2 weeks since we have seen him start a game in the field. Did come in game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday against the Keene Swampbats when Connor Bursch had to move from third base to the mound to pitch 1 inning and finish that one off.
And can confirm, Quintin, this is the first time all season long that Anthony Hattrip has walked 2 batters in the same inning.
Certainly does not look like himself on the mound right now as he tries to persevere through this bottom of the first inning and at least keep this within striking distance for the Muskrats early in this game. The pitch is going to be in there for a called strike, 0-1, as Hattrip gets ahead of Giordano. Batting .232 on the season is Giordano. 4 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Pitch is outside and low, and the count's 1-1. Giordano does have a home run against the Muskrats. That came back against Laconia at Robbie Mills Field. Hatrip comes set, takes a look at the runners at second and first. A 1-1 pop foul, right side. Jimenez hoping for a play over towards the fence on the warning track. Reaches up, and did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Nice catch by Jimenez, navigating with the fence and the netting. And that will do it for the Mountaineers here in the bottom of the first inning, but not before. They get 3 hits, and they score 3 runs, and they strand 2 runners on base. Split at the top of the second inning, 3-0. Mountaineers lead over the Muskrats. You're listening to the NECBL Broadcast Network.